Hey listeners, it's EJ Miller, the writer, creator, and producer here at Fast Food Horror. When I started off this podcast, I did so with the intention on giving you bite-sized stories, quick and digestible, scary and spooky. But when this idea came to me, I realized I couldn't tell the full story in one 15-minute serving. It would have to be broken up over a few weeks. So I hope you enjoy this latest tale, the tale of the house on Morrow Hill. Igor, take it away. Welcome to another episode of Fast Food Horror. In this story, authored by E.J. Miller, a man and his wife move into a small, strange little town, but find their house is stranger still. In this tale entitled, The Tale of the House on Morrow Hill. Just 7 nights into our stay in our new home, I don't believe we'll be staying an 8th. Not because the home isn't structurally sound, not because we are having marriage issues, but because the home came with something. A something we cannot live with. Let me tell you how we got here. My wife inherited her family home after her grandfather passed last year, a beautiful old Victorian manor just north of the Adirondacks in the small, sleepy town of Holland's Pocket. Holland's Pocket. An interesting name to say the least. The town is placed at the base of Holland's Peak, in the Holland Hills. Due to the peak and the surrounding hillscape, the town is cast in shadow and darkness more times than not. Hence, Holland's Pocket. The town is what one might call quaint, very Rockwellian, aside from its abnormal, nocturnal nature. The world as it is has not yet found its way here. The nearest Walmart or Target is miles away. There are no drive-through restaurants, no McDonald's or Wendy's, and certainly not a Starbucks. It has but one street that runs through town, lit by sodium lights. It has a drugstore that has been run by the same family for 5 generations, an honest-to-goodness soda and ice cream shop with soda fountains, a cafe that also doubles as the town's meeting and gossip spot, only one church that everyone in town attends, and a police force that consists of 5 officers and but 2 cars. It is the very definition of small town. Shoot, a majority of the residents still have a landline since the surrounding hills interfere with cell signals. My wife's family home is set on the top of Morrow Hill, just outside of town. A beautiful Victorian manor that her great-great-grandfather, the good town doctor, built when he immigrated from Prussia early in the last century. 2 floors, 6 bedrooms, or was it 8? 2.5 bathrooms, and a kitchen so big you could entertain in it, all set on a small apple orchard. When my wife was told that her grandfather left it to her in the will, I wasn't exactly thrilled with the prospect of moving to Nowheresville. But my wife was very persuasive. She pointed out that the home had the great potential to be turned into a bed and breakfast that she could run, and that I could continue my job as an editor from home and only have to travel to the main office every 3 months or so. There was a lovely little study off the kitchen I could use as an office, and the house was so secluded there would be little to no distractions for me. I may even be able to work on that novel I always talked about. All of our kids were now adults and had since flown from the nest, dispersed across the country. Most of her other family had since passed, and I was raised in and out of foster care, a ward of the state. I really had no other family to tie me down to a location, so we made the move from the big city to Holland's Pocket. We estimated 3 months to clean up the home that her grandfather had not lived in 2 years since being moved to the nursing home, then passing away. Painting all the rooms, making the odd repair, and bringing the home up to date before we opened it up as a bed and breakfast in the fall, just in time for apple picking. We moved in 4th of July weekend and took the master bedroom on the bottom floor nearest the kitchen. A majority of the other bedrooms were on the second floor, so it would give us space from our future guests. Upon arrival, my wife gave me an emotional tour of the family home where she spent a good deal of her childhood. Memories and stories filled every room. We took a walk around the grounds and the interior of the home, making mental notes of the things that needed to be done, repaired, replaced, or updated. We then set upon the arduous task of unpacking. By evening's end, we had made significant progress in the latter, and as the shadows started to cast themselves long and dark over Holland's Pocket, we decided to call it a night and collapsed into bed. That first night, though, I woke up freezing. Not just cool or cold. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say freezing. I immediately thought the air conditioning might have been left on high or at its lowest setting, but this house had no air conditioning. I reached to the nightstand and tapped the screen of my cell phone to check the time, 2:33 a.m., and caught sight of my breath in the air, a visible puff of white upon my exhale. In July, no matter the location of the house or time of day, this was off. This wasn't right. I tried to wake Steph, gently at first, then with a bit more urgency, but she was out. I watched my breath as I exhaled. I tried to make sense of the icebox-like temperature in our bedroom. What kind of technical glitch, geographical or weather phenomenon was I experiencing? There had to be a logical explanation. My concentration, however, was broken by a metallic thud against something hard that seemed to echo through the house. It repeated again and again, like the beat of a bass drum keeping time. Thwack! 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 My immediate impulse was to rush from the room and determine the source of the sound. Where was it coming from? What was it? Was it the ancient pipes, the furnace, or God forbid the foundation giving way, or something completely else? I stayed, though, lying there next to my wife. Not out of fear, but the idea of leaving her with this unnatural temperature thing in the room, unable to wake her from her sound sleep, and now this pounding sound? I stayed, keeping guard from what, if anything, I did not know. I could wait till she woke. Wait till morning to figure this out.